Hi guys, we're here at the World Figure Skating Championships here in Boston, TD Garden 2016. We're so excited to be joined by Madison Chock and Evan Bates, world silver medalists, world bronze medalists. So guys, we want to start with the beginning of this season. Coming into the season, you were world silver medalists. What were your expectations coming into this new season?
Well, we had very high expectations for ourselves, and we usually do. Last season, I think, was a really new experience for us, being in medal contention for the first time at Worlds and shooting for a national title for the first time. Sort of unfamiliar territory for us. And I don't know if we really knew what we were getting ourselves into per se, but once the season was over, we were thrilled with the way the results went. Looking towards this year, we wanted to repeat those results, but found it, I think, a little bit harder, having placed the weight of that expectation on ourselves.
Maddie, did you feel like maybe there was a new sense of pressure that came along with being a world medalist?
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely a different headspace for us to be in, and just so much respect for you guys for having to do that over and over.
Hey, don't bring us into this.
This is about you.
No, but yeah, it was definitely different, a different pressure than we had ever experienced before, and I think this year was really a learning experience for us, as was last year, but just in a different way. But I think we definitely have grown a lot and learned so much from this season about ourselves and about how far we can push ourselves and what we still want to accomplish.
So you mentioned you felt as though you had really grown this year, and we know you had changed some programs at the beginning of the season, like we're certainly familiar with.
Oh yeah.
It can be very challenging.
All the cool kids do it.
but it can be disheartening at times too. And so what is it you felt like you gained out of not just that experience, but sort of the challenges of this season in general? How have you grown from that?
Just knowing we could do that. I mean, it was very challenging, you guys know that, and just being able to push ourselves as a team to make such quick turnarounds, especially changing our short program right before the Grand Prix series started, that was an experience for sure, but it definitely paid off, and we're happy we made the changes that we did to both our programs.
Do you guys, is it too soon to ask what your mindset is going forward, going into next season? I know this season isn't completely done for you guys yet, doing the team challenge, but what is your mindset now going into next year?
Well, we're definitely already looking ahead to next year. We were doing that even before Worlds, not so much as we are now, but yeah, we definitely want to get a jump on our programs and choreography and want to keep moving up the podium.
Yeah, I think it's important looking at how strong the dance field was here, and just the level that the sport is at right now. It's really important for us to pick the perfect piece of music, to choose the right choreographer, and to really make a masterpiece, because that's what it's going to take for us to become world champions.
That's such an interesting thought, and actually I think sort of all of us in the dance world are having that reaction, and Gabrielle and Guillaume of course have been doing an amazing job coming out second-time world champions. How do you feel like that, them coming out and winning their second world championships with this really interesting style and just beautiful way of skating, how do you feel like that's going to impact the rest of the dance teams going forward? Tremendously.
I mean, we're all watching backstage, and everyone was just really in awe of the beauty that they're producing on the ice. And for us, we're competitors. We obviously want to win, but at the same time, we do appreciate having that kind of wonderful competition, and I think that there's mutual respect between all the teams. And it will push us this summer to really find and explore new ways that we can be better.
Meryl talked about Gabby and Guillaume, but I think almost all of the teams, had their best skates of the seasons here at these World Championships, and it seems like the arena or the audience, maybe it's the ice surface itself, is really lending itself to bringing out the best in everybody. Is that the feeling that you got? Is that how you felt? Because it looked that way, I think, everybody agrees. Especially for you guys, it looked like it was, your best free dance of the year. How did that come about? Was it something in the air?
Well, I think partially it could have been that, but prior to Worlds, we had been training really well. Like Evan said, we had a breakthrough after Nationals, and we just have really been gelling with our programs and with each other, and I think that made a huge difference. We felt very prepared and very confident in our programs for the first time, I think, all season, which was a good feeling. And being back at the TD Garden where we had so many good memories the Olympic year also helps. It's just like a positive place for us, and we were excited to be back, and the ice felt great, and the audience was so supportive for everyone, and it was just great to feel that energy all week.
And this was your first home Worlds.
Yes.
I remember we were there in 2009 with you in LA at the only home Worlds we've done. So what was your impression of the discrepancy in having a World Championship on home ice, an American audience, versus being international for something like that?
Well, I loved it because it was a really short trip.
Great. It's the little things.
Yeah.
It's the little things.
No, but really the crowd was so supportive, especially the U.S. teams. It really felt like they made us feel like at home, and it felt like a home World Championships, which was such a special feeling. Don't know whether we're going to see this again in our careers, but I'm definitely glad I got to experience it.
You've been to the Olympics. How has that sort of changed your view of sports, of the way that you approach figure skating? It's a huge deal. It's one thing to be a world level international figure skater, but to make it to the Olympic level and all that the Olympics represents. What does that mean to you guys?
Well, it's a pretty big deal, like you said, but I think the biggest thing for me when the first time that I made an Olympic team in 2010 was just the realization of sport can be something so much bigger than yourself, not just for your country, but when I qualified for the Olympics, it was like people came out of the woodworks, from elementary school. And, hey, man, I sat next to you in the cafeteria. It makes you feel so good that you can do something that seems at times as trivial as figure skating can seem, but that it means so much to other people. And I've had so many people tell me that my accomplishment of making the Olympics is what they brag about to their friends and family, and that makes me feel really good.
That's so interesting.
What about you, Maddie?
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest possible stage that we can compete at. That's like the holy grail of sports. So it was an absolute incredible experience to be there, and I really want to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you touched on something. It really makes you realize that sport is something bigger than yourself. But what else do you guys feel like, in and of your own interests, have added to, what you bring to the ice? I know you're one of the rare elite figure skaters who's been able to graduate from college and still, make an Olympic team after having done that. So what else do you guys feel like you do off the ice that enhances what you bring to the ice?
I think more recently, actually, Maddie and I have been trying to tap in a little bit more to some artistic outlets. I know Maddie has been taking some art classes. She's a very talented artist. And just, kind of simple hobbies like playing the guitar or, looking at art books or going to museums, things like that kind of, I think, as you get older, you realize that those things can contribute to what you put out on the ice, because for us, our skating is like our paintbrush. It's our art form, it's our medium, it's our way of expressing ourselves. And so I think the more we can kind of absorb from all those different outlets, and then we put that into our skating.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you, why is figure skating important? Just because I like to hear it. But I think that, I kind of think that you answered that with what you said. I mean, we're very lucky to be able to do something like that. And Maddie, I just want to give you the opportunity. I mean, figure skating has played such a big part in all of our lives. What does the sport, what does it represent to you? What does it mean to you? Why do you commit yourself to it so much?
I just loved it from such an early age. Like right when I got on the ice, I knew it was like something I loved to do, and every day when I step on the ice, I still love to do it, and that's how I know that this is what I'm meant to be doing, especially right now. And it just brings me a lot of joy, and I'm very passionate about it. And I feel like there are many things to be passionate about in life, and if you're lucky enough to find one of them, you should just grab on and go for the ride.
Totally agree. And it's easy to tell that you're passionate about it and that you love it so much too. And it definitely comes across in your performances.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
thank you for chatting with us, guys. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Being our first ever interviewee. So thanks. You did a great job putting up with us. Thank you.
So, thanks for sitting with us in our interview with Maddie and Evan.